good afternoon everybody, it's all pal over Metalhead here. Hope you're going well. It's an amazing Sunday afternoon here in London. Sun is out. Tomorrow it's like the first calendar day of summer, even though summer doesn't start for another few weeks. So, just can't wait for winter to get back, because last winter was pretty shit. As there was no snow falling within England, and when I went to Norway, I saw snow, but none of it was falling when I was there. Good cup of coffee at 7 o'clock at night, who cares? So anyway, I'm going to talk about my history of going to heavy metal festivals. Like, in my life, there has been music festivals, but it's not always about non-metal music. Every festival I've been to has always been about metal music. So, going back in Australia, we had this festival called Metal for the Brain in Canberra, which raised funds for this guy called Mr. Huxley, or Alec Huxley, who was beaten to brain damaged, and he was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life and passed away about over 10 years ago. So they did these concerts to raise funds for like brain injuries and stuff in Canberra and Northern Australia. Then there was Big Day Out. Big Day Out I never went to. My cousin Brendan went there in 2004 to see Metallica. But the one thing with Big Day Out was they only had just one metal band a year, so that just wouldn't interest me, having to wait around all day just to see Metallica, or wait around all day just to see, well, Ozzy Osbourne, etc. And then when I started working, there was Soundwave, and I never went to Soundwave. Why? They only had a small amount of metal bands. Like one year, if you went to Soundwave, you'd see Saxon. They cancelled Slayer, and they also cancelled because of the lead singer's injuries. And then you had to sit through a whole bunch of emo crap until 10 o'clock to see Iron Maiden. And it wasn't like worth your money and stuff. If you want to go see Iron Maiden, they're worth paying $150 to see them upright. So, I travelled to America when I was 24, to the state of Maryland, to a town called Baltimore, to attend the 8th annual Maryland Deathfest. It was held outside the sauna venue, at two stages outside in the car park, one stage inside. So at this festival I got to see bands like Possessed, Autopsy, who were reunited with Dan Milker from Nuclear Assault, Portal, Nozzle, Bloodduster, Captain Cleanoff, Pestilence, Entombed, Obituary, I Hate God, and a lot of like underground metal bands in all forms of metal and stuff. So I came back to Australia broke after my Deathfest. Then 12 months later I was at Hellfest. Main reason to see Scorpions, favorite German band of all time. But then on the same day I got to see stuff like Thin Lizzy, UFO, Sodom, Creator, Coroner, Destruction, and Whiplash, yeah, and also Doro and Sympathy X, and no, actually, sorry, I didn't think I saw. I think Sympathy X were on like that. Atheist, Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, Morbid Angel. So that was good. So I thought, oh, that was such a fantastic festival. I would go back to Hellfest one day. Following year, I didn't go to Hellfest. I attended Headbangers Open Air in the north of Hamburg, on a farm. All these cult metal bands from around the world, and a few Australian bands, such as like Well Lord, and my good mates Hellbringer was supposed to perform that year, but had to cancel because of couldn't get out of work and stuff. But Headbangers Open Air was good, and that allowed me to see bands like Eden, Power Mad, Kimla Chance, who was in a band called Vixen, not the glam metal band Vixen of the 80s, but Vixen before then. Then there was Lizzie Borden, Jaguar, Warbringer, Portrait, Steel Mountain, Hobbs Angel of Death, he was there. Yeah, and funny thing was, I was supposed to see Hades. It was supposed to be a night of Hades, but I fell asleep before the set, and that was fantastic festival, and I kind of kick myself how I haven't been able to go to see one of those Headbangers festivals since then. And then I went back to see Hellfest in 2013, and I saw bands like Kiss, Down, Accept, Manila Road, ZZ Top, Sympathy X, White Snake, Def Leppard, Testament, Heathen, yeah. But this one incident happened at Hellfest 2013, alright? I was in my tent was pretty colourful. It was a standard 2-dome tent, but it had really just some disgusting photographs. Well, not like pornographic or out, but it just basically had photographs of like records, even Turkish passport stamps. Some guy, when I'm sitting in the tent, he comes up to my tent, unzips his pants, and starts urinating on my tent while I'm inside it. I'm like, dude, this isn't a urinal. You want to piss on something, you're pissing on the vines out there. Because, I mean, every time I've been to Hellfest, I always camped near the vines and stuff so I could steal grapes. And then we'll piss on the vines afterwards. So I'm in the tent, and somebody's pissed on it, and I'm thinking to myself, I am really wasting my life attending these 3-day camping festivals. I had to leave my ancestral hometown, Middlesbrough, on a Tuesday. Then I had to leave Birmingham on a Wednesday. Then I go to Holland on Thursday, and I get to the campsite Thursday night. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, I'm camping in the middle of like nowhere. And then it takes me all of mine to decide where the hell I'm going to go next. Like, do I go to Switzerland, or do I go up back to London to see my cousin Charles? So I decided that I would retire from attending 3-day heavy metal festivals because they're eating a lot of time into my life, and they're stopping me from seeing the beauty of other things. Like, there's so much amazing stuff you could see in France. Like, don't get me wrong, like I've never spent a whole 24 hours in Paris, but I like going there. And then I went back to Australia, and I didn't travel for 17 months, mainly because my addiction to escorts and not working enough. So then I thought, well, it's better for me to go visit some rad countries like Timor-Leste, Brunei, Papua New Guinea, Liechtenstein, Serbia, Macedonia, rather than just go to Hellfest or go to Headbangers Open Air, or go to, you know, like a 3-day festival. You go to camp. Like, I mean, Maryland Deathfest was 3 days, but you weren't allowed to camp. You had to stay in hotels or hostels or other people's houses in Baltimore. But I haven't basically said no to 1-day festivals. Like, the last big festival I went to was Lord of the Lands in Glasgow 2 years ago. I got there to see this crazy band, Lawnmower Extreme. No, Lawnmower Death. Yeah, so Lawnmower Death, then this other band. Then I went back to my hotel for a few hours, Kip, and then I woke up to see Dark Angel. Dark Angel, the only time they played in Europe in 2018, and so it was like very special for me to see Dark Angel because I met Gene Hoglan back in 2010, and he signed my copy of Dark Angel, and at the time Dark Angel had been broken up for only a couple of years, but then they reunited a few years later. So this is my hindsight to a lot of you people out there. Like, don't basically spend every year of your life going to music festivals, or just don't be going to Glastonbury every year. Don't be going to All Points East, because right now music festivals are going to be uncertain. Like, if people said to me, "Oh, man, you may not be able to go see Omen in Sweden in like November," I say, well, if I could stand 2 meters away from somebody else in Sweden, it's a possibility it's going to happen. But it was many times in my life that I've gone many months without seeing gigs, mainly because I thought, no, I'm going to be a smart ass, I'm going to stay at home, I'm going to save some money, and I'm just going to basically enjoy life and work on other bigger things. Because if you ask me, interesting things like visiting a synagogue, a mosque, a Yazidi temple, and a church in Tbilisi is a lot more amazing than somebody pissing on your tent in France. Anyway, I'm Metalhead, over and out.